Straight ahead on CCX News, the search for a burglar. Police believe the same person is responsible for break-ins at 3 local schools. Plus, hope for homeless youth. How a Brooklyn Park shelter is expanding its services. But first, the opioid epidemic and its impact on a Golden Valley mother. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. There were an alarming number of opioid deaths last year in Hennepin County.
As a result, the Sheriff's Office has begun a county-wide drug prevention campaign. And we get more from Eric Nelson, who is with us now. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, the opioid problem has become an epidemic in Hennepin County, and the Sheriff's Office wants to reverse those numbers. Today, they announced the beginning of a year-long campaign called Overdose. Golden Valley's Rhoda Michael lost her son Adam in 2016 to an overdose and is trying to make people aware of the crisis.
The problem is immense. It's on so many different levels. It affects people of all different economic groups, education groups. It's people who don't think it would ever happen to them, and we are losing our children. We have to do better at providing support in the schools. We have to do better about insurance coverage.
Today, Hennepin County Sheriff Rich Stanek and others gathered in downtown Minneapolis to shine light on the problem. According to the CDC, Minnesota had 338 opioid overdose deaths in 2015, up 6% from the year before. The problem affects people in major cities, rural areas, and the suburbs. The Sheriff's Office is hoping to team up with law enforcement agencies, school districts, and other groups who can assist in this effort. The goal is to educate parents and kids about drug risk and current trends. Colleen Ronay tragically lost her son Luke to opioid addiction last year.
I think the young people right now don't fully understand how gripping this addiction is and how easily even just one use affects them. So it's my goal to get people to start talking about it, to educate, to raise awareness, because we're losing too many young people.
Now, some opioid addicts hide their problem because of embarrassment and shame. That is one stigma that needs to be erased, according to those at today's news conference. Alex and Mike?
All right, Eric, thank you. Well, Osseo and Maple Grove police are asking for help identifying a man who may have broken into 3 schools in the past month.
Overnight custodians had come in contact with a gentleman walking down the hallway that was wearing a full ski mask and then chased that individual out of the building.
That happened after midnight last Wednesday at Maple Grove Middle School. Police say somehow the burglar had broken in from the roof of that school. Break-ins were also reported at Osseo High School and Osseo Middle School back on December 21st. And police released these photos from security cameras inside the schools. One shows a man carrying some kind of a pry bar in his hand, and they are looking for the public's help in identifying the man in the photos.
There's been a lot of property damage. I believe the 2 Osseo Junior and Osseo Senior High, there was several $100 in gift cards, some petty cash, and an iPad.
There were also break-ins on December 21st at 3 nearby Osseo homes, and police are checking to see if the pry bar used in the schools was the same used in the homes. And if you know who is in the photos, you are asked to contact Maple Grove or Osseo police.
A Plymouth man accused of wheeling his dying mother into a bank to withdraw money has pleaded guilty to financial exploitation. David Vanzo's mother was pronounced dead just hours after Vanzo withdrew more than $800 from his mother's account. According to the criminal complaint, witnesses say Vanzo's mom was slumped over and dragging her feet as Vanzo pushed her wheelchair into a local Wells Fargo bank. Vanzo admitted to stealing more than $35,000 from his ailing mother over several years. He will be sentenced on February 21st.
There will soon be one less option in the northwest suburbs to sell used books. Half-Price Books in Crystal plans to close this spring. Its last day is expected to be Saturday, April 15th. The spokesperson for the family-owned bookstore chain says traffic at the Crystal store just hasn't been high enough to allow it to stay open, so it's focusing resources on its 6 other Twin Cities locations. A Brooklyn Park youth homeless shelter is observing its 2nd anniversary today.
And now Brooklyn Avenues for Homeless Youth is expanding its programs to help homeless youth get back on their feet. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us how.
We make them feel at home.
The brown, tan, and orange home off 76th Avenue looks like your typical suburban home, but inside, there's something major going on.
Some people call places like this a homeless shelter. I call it a place of transition.
Donnell Bratton is the program manager for Brooklyn Avenues
Extra storage spaces, the locker.
and has been here since it opened 2 years ago.
This is my favorite part of the house, where the independent living skills piece comes in, because although this is a transitional living place, but they have their own mailboxes.
And just like home, there's an area where clients can unwind and have some fun.
They go from surviving to thriving. Probably have never been able to play a video game. It's amazing when you see that stuff.
The young adults have their own room, own key, and own privacy.
It's a room with blankets and pillows, and they have a workstation to work.
Nearly 200 people have come through the doors since Avenues for Youth first opened up. The average stay is about 4 months. However, the ultimate goal is for folks to find permanent housing. Avenues for Homeless Youth beefed up and expanded programs. A job and education specialist is now on site.
We want them to get to a place not just having a minimum wage job, but a livable wage job. So in education and the proper education and training will allow this youth to have that opportunity.
They also added more hours to the mental health counselor position.
It's enough within itself to just be a youth that has a normal life and a youth that's dealing with homelessness. It's enough to talk about, and so they need someone to talk about that understands and meet them where they are.
Avenues for Homeless Youth is providing life skills to young adults so they can be successful throughout their lifetime.
I want them to come back and talk about their story of success, of how when they first got here, and then the skills that they learned and how they were successful in their living, and that they're continuing this journey.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Brooklyn Avenues serves young adults ages 16 to 21. 54% of the funding comes from private donations. And there is a fundraising event on Saturday, February 4th. We have more information on our website. It's ccxmedia.org. Coming up, planning meals for fussy kids. That's next in Health Check.
And then later in sports, the Armstrong-Cooper boys hockey team takes aim at a conference title.
But first, chilly and brisk on Wednesday. The good news, we should see plenty of sunshine. We'll be right back.
New visitor restrictions are in effect for some Twin Cities hospitals due to the flu. Allina Health began implementing the restrictions this week, and children under age 5 are asked not to visit patients, and people who are sick should also refrain from visiting. Compassionate exceptions may be considered. Allina Health hospitals include Abbott Northwestern in Minneapolis and Mercy Hospital in Coon Rapids. We also checked with North Memorial and Maple Grove hospitals. So far, no visitor restrictions are in place at those hospitals. Family meals are supposed to be a time for bonding and talking about your day, right?
That's true, but if your child is a picky eater, that can take precedent and cut into the quality time a family spends together. In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland spoke with a local dietitian about how to help kids have a healthy relationship with food.
What do you say?
It's snack time for this 2-year-old toddler named Johnny. His meal of strawberries, turkey, cheese, and hummus is literally finger-licking good. But it's a different story when he has vegetables on his plate.
He will eat some green peas and some broccoli and here and there, but he doesn't eat a lot of roasted veggies. I try to make them 10 different ways and he doesn't really eat them.
Same goes for when his parents try to serve him ground beef or steak.
We definitely wanted to do something about it. We want to make sure that we're helping him to eat really well. We want him to have a good relationship with food.
To help Lisa and her husband David accomplish that goal,
what percentage of it is you focused on what he's eating?
They called in Andrea Potashnik for a coaching session. She's a registered dietitian who works with families on issues related to picky eating.
A lot of times parents don't understand what normal eating behaviors in children look like. So it's very common for toddlers to eat a food one day and then the next day completely reject it.
Andrea says children can become picky eaters if their parents force them to eat certain foods or if their parents bribe them.
So a lot of parents who don't address this issue, their meal times are not pleasant. There's a battle at the table going on, there's negotiations going on over the food, and it's just not a pleasant experience for everyone.
Lisa and David wanted to address the issue now while their son was still young. Ultimately, Andrea created a plan that will hopefully make meal times relaxing and fun.
And what it comes down to is, as parents, we decide what our children are eating, when they're eating, and where they're eating. And it's the child's responsibility to decide whether or not they're going to eat and how much they're going to eat.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
For more tips on how to ensure that your child has a healthy relationship with food, you can visit Andrea's website, and you can find a link on our website at ccxmedia.org.
Well, time to think a little ahead about swimming lessons this summer. There's a new Hennepin County partnership designed to help underserved youth learn how to swim. According to the USA Swimming Foundation, many children have little or no swimming ability. With $35,000 from the Hennepin Youth Sports Program, some local swim clubs affiliated with USA Swimming can apply for money to offer free lessons for some of their students. Right now, the county is reaching out to swim clubs to apply for those grants. The deadline is March 8th. Applications are available on Hennepin County's website. Coming up, dancing till you drop.
Osseo Middle School students test their dancing endurance for a good cause. But first, we will hear from a successful local high school volleyball coach who's now moving up to the college ranks. John Jacobson has that and more coming up next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Champlin Park's volleyball team has finished in the top 5 in each of the past 3 seasons, including state runner-up in Class 3A last fall. Now the team's head coach has stepped down. John Yunker has accepted an assistant coach position with the University of North Dakota women's volleyball team. Yunker coached the team for the past 6 years. He talked to us about the new job and about leaving Champlin Park.
You know, I've been looking to coach college. I've done some college coaching before and looking to get back into it. And I met this coach a few years ago and continue to work different summer camps, including their camps. And he said, you know, keep me posted. I'll keep you posted and how things are going. And there was an opening, and so he offered it to me, and it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Oh, it's been a great ride. You know, 6 years. You know, we just kept building, and from the first class through, everybody just wanted to get a little bit better, and I just kept building on it and feeding off each other. And you know, the last 3 has been the most success, obviously, but all 6 have just been an improvement and on the court, but all along just great young women to work with.
Champlin Park Activities Director Matt Madsen says the job will be posted in mid-February with the hope to have a new coach hired by late March. The Northwest Suburban Conference is divided into 2 divisions for most sports now, including boys hockey. As Jay Wilcox reports, Armstrong-Cooper is eyeing a championship in the West Division.
Taking the West Division title was a big goal for the Armstrong-Cooper Wings, and now it's within reach.
Super exciting. We've been looking forward to this all year. That was one of our season goals, to win the conference. So we're on track, and I'm really excited. I think the boys are really riled up, and it's going to be a big game in Champlin.
You know, they're buying in and they're seeing results. It's always a great sign when you preach one thing and they're seeing the results come through. So I couldn't be more proud of the guys than I am now.
The Wings have a 3-point lead in the West. They have 1 division game left Saturday against Champlin Park. A win gives them the title, and even a tie clinches at least a share of the championship. It's been fun pulling out some close games this winter.
Playing in youth, you never really got to be in first much ever. And then now last year we kind of struggled a little bit. And now we're finally starting to win the games that we usually don't win, like the close ones against like the Coon and the Irondales. And you know, it's just been fun being in front the whole season.
It really has worked out well for everybody in the conference, I believe, not just us. But like I said, every game that we play is just, it's a great game, and I think it bode well for both sides of the conference, the other side and our side.
As for why they are succeeding, the Wings have some good ideas.
I think what we're doing well is getting pucks in and out, finishing our second chances. little tough scoring in the beginning, but now we're putting pucks in the back of the net and we're winning these high-scoring games.
I say our young defensemen have really stepped up, played good all year. We only have only one senior defenseman, I think, and the rest are sophomores and juniors, and they've all played really good.
Looks like the hard work is paying off for Armstrong-Cooper. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Beautiful shot by the Wings host Centennial Tuesday night and Providence Academy Thursday before that big game at the Champlin Ice Forum against Champlin Park Saturday afternoon. Standout Wayzata wrestler Dan Herta is featured on this week's Sports Jam show here on CCX. Here's Jay again with a clip from that story.
Now as a senior, Wayzata's 170-pounder Dan Herta is dominating on the mat.
For me, it's been an incredible season so far. I had some success at some tournaments, most notably the Rumble on the Red. That was a really big deal for me. It's a big tournament. It's one of my big goals to win that tournament.
Winning that tournament, I believe, pushed him to be recognized in our state as a contender. I think he went from being, tough Wayzata kid to people knowing his name, people following, so the state understands, this is one of the top guys.
Watch the rest of the Dan Herta story and much more on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX. And coming up tonight, live Tuesday night, Mike and Alex, girls basketball as Osseo hosts Park Center. Back to you.
Ought to be fun. Thank you very much, John. Still ahead, Osseo middle school students in the middle of a dance-a-thon.
We will show you up next.
And finally, students, staff, and families at Osseo Middle School are feeling the rhythm and dancing like crazy to raise money for a global campaign.
It's a dance-a-thon called Can't Stop the Movement. Prizes are awarded for those who can dance for a solid hour and 15 minutes. The school student council is selling tickets and raising money to help build schools in Kenya as part of the We Act global campaign.
A lot of our students have family ties in Kenya, which one of our Student Leadership Council girls, she really felt a connection with that. She actually had some cousins that went to the buildings in Kenya as well that the We Act Villages partner with.
So you want to see what this dance-a-thon looks like in action?
Well, it just got underway about an hour ago at Osseo Middle School, and we leave you now with a few highlights from the event.